So, League number 2, playing through some Rakdos Shadow. We played Rakdos with Obosh yesterday. Went okay. I think we ended up like 3-2 with it. But this time we're just kind of making like a throwback to 2019 or 2021 Rakdos Shadow. I think it's 2021. I don't think it's 2020. But just running like Scourges, Shadows, instead of Bomat Courier and Swift Spear like we did back then. We got Dragon's Rage Channeler and Ragavan now. Just kind of trying to throw aggressive threats at our opponent, enable Shadow and Scourge through like Street Wraith, Fetching, Shocking, Thoughtseize, and Battle Rage our opponent for lethal. Maybe we want to find room for Baubles with Channeler, but we're going to test it out without them, see what happens before we make too many adjustments. In the sideboard, we've got 3 Blood Moons for all these greedy Leyline Binding players running around right now. 2 Chalice of the Void, 2 Doll Thief for things like Living End and Rhinos, a Pirate Spellbomb, and a Kozilek's Return. Give us some good ways to answer Sanctifier on Vec, as well as like Go Wide Tribal decks. 2 Turok the Dread Cantor and Kroxa for the white-based control decks, the 4-color decks, anything like that. Liliana the Veil for the mid-range mirrors. 2 Terminate for things like mURktide. So let's jump in and see what happens. Definitely should have screenshotted that. Like, opponent getting 2 evoked Solitudes, Drown in the Locked, and then the resolved one gets Snakeskin Veiled. That's got to be on some sort of like never before seen list. But like we said, the Sultai deck kind of passed the initial vibe test, which was just, hey, is this deck going to see threats consistently? Is it going to kind of vaguely function like we want it to? Yes. All right, step 2 is going to be to like buff up the card quality, find some better spots in there for some more impactful cards, and see what happens. Make sure the Stream Decker link is working.
Just wait for the tone.
But I also would like some feedback if anybody in the chat wants to give their 2 cents. The stream has always been about like it's always been about like trying things out on stream. Like an idea comes around and we just throw it into a deck list and fire it off. So we don't play a lot of leagues with what I would consider like refined deck lists. Like even if we 5-0 something the league before, we're always changing something for the new league. And I really want to know how much people would prefer, or would they prefer keeping things the same and just doing a lot of like these test leagues with whatever we can think of? Or would people prefer trying to narrow down more refined versions of each specific deck? So like a more refined Grixis list and Rakdos list or Jund whatever, and run with that instead. So if you have any opinion in the chat, I would love to hear your thought there. Like, I don't play a lot of leagues off camera, so pretty much anything that's on camera is what I'm just like thinking of trying out, and this is just like putting it into motion. But we could go the direction of playing like less direct leagues, like less this is what we're trying out, and more test off stream, and whatever I bring in is something that like I've already tried out and it's worked, or something similar. Like watching people who try out different stuff. Oh, and that's definitely the case here so far. And I mean, if that's the case, if y'all like seeing us try out stuff, I'm A-okay with that, because obviously that's what we've been doing so far. So Yawgmoth again. Birds, they mold to 6. I could Thoughtseize and try to take most impactful thing out of hand. I could Ragavan and hope for no oppressive play after this. I could dismember the birds. Any line can lead me to like turn 2 Thoughtseize Shadow or turn 2 Dismember Shadow. Worst case scenario would be I'd let them untap with the birds and they get a turn 2 Grist or a turn 2 Eldritch Evolution into Grist. So I think I'm leaning towards kill the bird. So if that's the case, let's fetch shock and dismember. Grist is very dangerous. It's probably best card in this matchup. We expect like it's never one lander. Spend all this time just like, hey, if they have a one lander, we're in really good shape. All right, so I can dash Ragavan. But I think I would rather Thoughtseize plus Shadow. So let's go Thoughtseize. There's the man of the hour. Take you. Play Shadow. Say go. And now we're in a position where, like, if we can find Battle Rage pretty quickly, that could just run away with the game. False Messenger. Okay. And a Yawgmoth. Okay, so Street Wraith gives us Delirium. So let's go play Channeler. Play Agademe. What I'm kind of hoping here is that my opponent will attack back with like both the Yawgmoth and the Giraffe's Messenger. And I can like block the wolf, cycle the Street Wraith, kill it off. So block there. Cycle Wraith. And Scourge isn't terrible. Okay. So let's go attack with both. Play out Scourge Shadow. And I think most of these lists are like only running one Giraffe's Messenger now. So I don't think we're too afraid of much. I guess they could get like a Grist and sack the Messenger and kill something. Strangleroot Geist is fine. Alright, so if I attack all out here, they block the 2 shadows. Take 8. Go to 7. I play a Ragavan. Block Strangleroot Geist. I'm dead to Geralt's Messenger if I do that. So I think what I need to do is attack Shadow Channeler. Like, play the fetch land, attack with these 3. They have to block the 2 shadows. So Geralt's Messenger dies. I go to 2. Strangleroot Geist dies. And then I play the Ragavan and say go. I think this is best because it forces the double chump block, which means I get Undying triggers out of the way. Maybe they mess up and just don't block the other one. I mean, we'll take just killing them here. So I don't know if opponent realizes that this Geralt's Messenger is a trigger that goes on the stack after it comes back. It's not they just automatically, or I automatically lose the 2 life. But I mean, I guess maybe there's a chance they thought like I didn't have another fetch land or something. So, or another shock land. I don't know why you would think that if I only have 1 land out. But either way, we'll take it. So, Dalthy's fantastic. Exiling everything when the dying trigger, or before the undying trigger has a chance to resolve. Terminate, K-Return, Spell Bomb are all okay. Street Wraith can come out. K-Command. Both a little slow. Ragavan's pretty bad because it gets stonewalled by just like 99% of their deck. If I wanted to leave a couple of these cards in, like, is the K command better than the first Ragavan? Probably. Well, I guess the first one, if they go like turn 1 nothing, I have turn 1 Ragavan, they have turn 2 Wall of Roots. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Maybe on the play, the first K command's better. But on the draw, I think it's worse. Like, significantly worse. Oh, snap, we Scourging them? Absolutely. That's all we do out here is cast Scourges. Alright, opponent mulliganed. Oh, how I wish this Sunbaked Canyon was another black canopy land. This hand's got like everything I want. Got a threat. I've got a lot of interaction. I'm gonna keep it. Maybe I end up kicking myself, but I'm on the draw. I've got a Street Wraith, so I've got like 2 draws to find a second land. And I can cast the Dismember off the Sunbaked Canyon. It'll cost me some life, but I can do it. Mold to 5. Opponent has kept 5. The turn 1 shock is great. There we go. Problem solved. So let's fetch shock, fatal push. Fetch shock, push. Put it on a mold of 5, playing a turn 1 Manadoric. Like, there's no way I'm letting that live and just let them ramp into a 3-drop on 2. I want to cycle first, because if I hit a black source, I'd rather play Dolthy than Scourge here. Perfect. Blood crit. Dolthy. Say go. So they missed their land drop. Let's attack in with Dolthy. And I think I'm not going to play the Thoughtseize. I think the only thing that, like, messes me up horribly from here is my opponent having, like, a Veil of Summer into draw something relevant. Because obviously they're not doing anything right now. So I'm just going to keep the pressure up with Scourge and not give them a chance to, like, draw out of it with a Veil. Scourge. And I still have this member up if I need something. Like, they play land Grist. Then I can, like, dismember the token. Man, I'm good at this. We can go to my turn. So I might just terminate instead. Alright, what have you got going on? Chord, crime and punishments. Let's take crime and punishment. Fatal push the insect token. Attack Dolthy at them. Scourge at Grist. I'm not presenting lethal this turn, so it doesn't really matter if I attack both at them. And it doesn't change up my clock at all, so... All of Roots, and their last 2 cards are 2 chords. So, terminate here. They can chord for 0, or they could have chorded for 0 to get a Dryad Arbor, but they did not. So we're gonna smack them with a Dolphy and a Scourge. Woo. 1-0. Love to see it. And that's something that we've tried in the Jund builds, is to incorporate Dolthy, because it's like a decent on-rate creature, 2-mana 3/2 that can't be blocked, but the exile ability gives you a lot of free wins. So you essentially get buys against, like, Yawgmoth for 1, the Underworld Breach combo deck, Living End, an uncontested one is really good against mURktide, but very, very seldom is it ever uncontested. Reasonable against Rhinos, great against, like, Amulet Titan and Tron if you can hit one of their payoffs with the Thoughtseize. Dolthy's good, it's just so dang good. It really is. Like, card's phenomenal when it's good. This gives you lines versus big mana, right? Like, beast. Amulet Titan. Good old AT. Fortunately, Amulet Titan with a reasonable hand as well. Like, if I could ban one card in Modern out of just personal spite, Arboreal Grazer might not be it, but it would be very high on the list of considerations. Like, do I think it's ban worthy? Absolutely not. Not even close. Do I just hate the card because I can? Absolutely. Like, does it just feel like it does everything I don't want a card to do against me? 1000%. All right. I can't play Sky or Scourge here, right? Because they go to their turn, float a mana, go get an expedition map, crack the map with the floating mana in the cavern to go get that stupid gain 2 life land, and that kills my Scourge. So instead, I need to Inquisition, in which case they've got a little bit of everything. So we take Dryad and Pray. Got it. They cannot Titan right here. Which I guess... Never mind. They can if they draw a second Amulet for turn. Alright. So with the Azusa, they had the mana to cast multiple Titans. And for lack of a better word, fuck our world up. Nice draw OP, right? Like, if we could attack into the Azusa next turn, we would have had a reasonable chance. Because, like, any of our removal spells would have been a fantastic draw. We would have had Scourge and Shadow down, so, like, we're not afraid of the first Titan. Second Titan, or second Amulet, however, just kind of wrecks all of that. Croaks I'm not a huge fan of because of Bajukabog. This is like my list of maybes. It's kind of like A tier bring-ins, B tier bring-ins. Knight's Whisper is a little slow. Ragavan against a bunch of Arboreal Grazers is pretty awkward. Got some Fatal Pushes since I'm bringing in Terminates. Question is, do I want the Turok and the Lily? Do I want the Turok and the Lily? I guess at the same time, like, Ragavan into potential Blood Moon is probably worth it. Board out some bolts instead. I want K-Command. Thoughtseize into Croxa. This is one of these, is this too fair hands? Like, Thoughtseize on 1, Croxa on 2. If they ditch a land, I can Scourge on 3. Could be good enough. but it all hinges on whether or not they ditch a land to Kroxa. This is so fair. All right, let's flip a coin. We're gonna put this decision on an unbeknownst power. You think Mole? I'm leaning towards Mole. It's just that upside of like, if they do ditch a land to Kroxa, then it's a very quick kill. It's a turn 3 Scourge. Turn 4, we would kill if 2 of our draws are like Lightning Bolt land. All right. That is kind of better. No moon, no keep. That's fair. Just throw back Battle Rage. If moon does its job, we don't really need Battle Rage. And oh man, thank you Teamer Battle Rage for always being the fantastic presence that you are. Survey says, all right, we've got to just get down a Shadow here. Hope we draw the 3rd land. And putting the Boseiju into play is good news for us. All right, deck. Fetch land. One time. Well, kept a 2-lander, double Street Wraith. Didn't hit it. Would have been sick there, but we'll see what happens. We also run the potential of just like finding a fetch land and maybe killing them here. I guess best case scenario would be opponent plays in our Boreal Grazer, or not our Boreal Grazer, Dryad of the Elysian Grove, and a tapped land. We find a fetch land, fetch shock, fatal push, go down to 6 off the peat land, Battle Rage's Shadow for 7, put them down to 11, Scourge becomes a 9/9, and then the rest of the damage come through on Shadow. Let's crank in with our boys. Endurance. They can block my Scourge. All right, so we can Battle Rage the Shadow. First strike damage, put him to 14. Scourge grows to a 6. Kills endurance. We can let the combat damage go through as it is. Scourge doesn't die because it grows with Shadow dealing damage. And then we just like play a Ragavan second main phase. I guess that's fine. Yeah. Let's just deal the damage and play Ragavan. Like, I think I like saving the Battle Rage for a bigger damage output next turn. Which could be greedy, but... Yeah, so the way that works with Scourge is the same way as if our opponent attacks into Shadow. Like, if two effects are dealing damage, one to Shadow and one to you at the same time, then the damage gets marked on Shadow. Shadow grows due to state-based actions when the damage is dealt to you. So the next time actions are checked, it sees that Shadow's got like a smaller amount of damage marked on it than is enough to kill the Shadow off. Same idea here with Scourge on their side. So opponent can Titan here. Or Arboreal Grazer into Titan, sure. Guess they just like really want to show that they've got an extra mana there. I don't think that floating mana ends up mattering. If they go get Hasteland, anything else, then like the floating mana is going away anyway when they go to combat. All right. So now the question becomes, do they also have a Dryad and a Valakut in hand? Respect the cat in chat. Respect. As long as that respect is geared towards the cat, yeah. Alright, so what we are going to do is block the Ragavan on the Titan to prevent 5, or prevent 1. Ragavan on the Titan, take 6, and then if they play a Dryad and then put a land trigger on the stack, we can Fatal Push the Dryad to not die. So Summoner's Pact is fine. Dryad's fine. Dryad plus a land is fine. Arboreal Grazer comes in, puts a land into play. Then we respond to this trigger by Fatal Pushing the Dryad. Problem with Moon is we could only play Moon if we had a basic land off the top. But instead, we're going to attack opponent with these two gentlemen and see what happens. Hiya. Who wants to bet money that our opponent does not block correctly? Opponent on a scale from 1 to incorrectly. That is incorrectly. So they needed to put at least 8 toughness on the Shadow. Like, they had to block with the Titan on the Shadow plus something else. So 9 toughness out of what they had. And then they still did need to block the Scourge, because the Battle Rage Scourge kills there. But we got to get out of that one without showing them Blood Moon. Really nice. On the draw, Ragavan's a lot worse because of our Boreal Grazer. Hate that card so much. Probably just bringing in bolts on the draw, help enable Scourges. Fatal Push and a bolt. Push can answer Dryad a little bit better. Oh. So, in the words of Respect the Cat, no moon, no keep. We could have a turn 2 Scourge, get it very sizable very quickly, but we've got no interaction. So I think we're going to ship this one. And opponent mulliganed. Oh no. So fair. Alright. Have to keep this. So let's throw back. If I have turn 1 Ragavan. Wraith, Blood Crypt. Don't you dare Arboreal Grazer me. Son of a bitch. Ragavan. Passing through. Land. Nice. Okay, so let's Fatal Push the Grazer. Attack with the Ragavan. Opponent didn't play anything that turn, but I think I'm still going like Inquisition plus Thoughtseize here. Double Titan. They found the Dryad off the top right after the Inquisition. Love to see it. No! Oh, man. Alright, what are the odds they don't block? Well then. That one. The bluff attack gets through. Now we hope and pray. Oh, man. Are we gonna do this? Is the thing working? Please never find a basic forest. Alright, let's attack with both. So I don't care if they block the Ragavan at this point. Like, I've got my swamp. And if the Scourge gets through, that puts them down to 12. Scourge is sizable. How about a Dismember off the top? Dismember one time. I appreciate opponent like trying out their land there and making sure that it actually makes red. All right, bluffing's not really doing anything for me. All right. Come on, Amulet. You've never missed. Yes! The bluff attack Ragavan gets through. Love to see it. I thought that was like super easy block for them because you're just untapping and tightening. Like, you don't care about this Dryad right here. Just play the Titans. But we kind of had a similar situation come up the other day with Dress Down. And like, I thought that my opponent would always just block with a Dryad of the Elysian Grove if they have Titans. Because it's Titans. Like, your deck is Amulet Titan. It's not Amulet Dryad of the Elysian Grove. So if they block the Ragavan, the worst that happens is I've got a removal spell for the Dryad, in which case you don't care. You just have Titans. Good hand on the play. Guess I need to bluff more. I don't know. Like, there's times I want to say bluffing more is good. I always say that making your opponent make a mistake is good. Or giving your opponent the opportunity to make a mistake is good. Alright, they kept 7. No companion. So let's just start off with Fetch Shock. Play a Channeler. So I can still play a turn 2 Shadow with Thoughtseize, Wraith, whatnot. Mishra's Bauble, Snow-Covered Island, Consider. So I'm assuming this is mURktide. Looks a little mURktide-y. K-Command's not terrible. I'll take an Inquisition. There's a reasonable chance I want to double discard here. So I think I'm going take Archmage's Charm, cycle, play Shadow. And then next turn, Inquisition, take the other charm. Because I think my shadows should be like sizable enough to where it gets around what's it called? Unholy Heat pretty quickly. Why'd you open with DRC instead of Thoughtseize? So for the most part, I'm on the play. I've got a proactive threat that enables, or that it's better enabled by Thoughtseize, like casting Thoughtseize afterwards. And even if they deal with it, I have a backup threat after my double hand disruption. So for the most part, like, I'm A-okay if my opponent uses a removal spell on the Channeler, because that means I've just got Shadow as a follow-up next turn. And the Thoughtseize, like I said, the Thoughtseize after the Channeler is going to get more value off the Channeler itself. So the hope is that if my opponent is an interactive deck, then they don't have 3 removal spells, because then the Channeler's eating 1, Thoughtseize is taking 1, Shadow resolves and dodges the rest. But if I start on Thoughtseize and they've got 2 removal spells, then maybe they don't use 1 on the Channeler. Shadow gets to catch 1, but I still have like a more proactive Channeler in that case. So it's almost like all upsides on getting the Channeler down first, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So Terminate's great, Lily's great, Dolphy's okay, Street Wraiths are meh. I don't like the second Croxa. Battle Rage is meh. Board out a Ragavan on the... board out a Channeler on the draw. Keep Ragavan. But it's just like, if they've got the removal spell, I'd rather them use it on the Channeler than the Shadow, and then Thoughtseize gets like the second piece of interaction. If they don't have a removal spell, then playing Thoughtseize on 2 after I play the Channeler gives me the Surveil trigger on Darcy, and nothing really changes there. But if I'm able to get Delirium online like turn 2, say Thoughtseize flips over I don't know, a Croxa, and then resolves, and I get to cycle Street Wraith, then I'm attacking for 3 on turn 2 instead of a 1-mana 1/1 getting just played out on turn 2. So the damage output's significantly higher. Yeah, it's a proactive play protecting my secondary threat, which is the Shadow. And the Shadow's definitely the more important of the threats there. So if I have a chance to kind of protect it. Now on the draw, it changes up completely. Like on the draw, I'm more than likely Thoughtseizing, because the last thing I want is for my opponent to untap and have like a Wrenn and 6 on turn 2, ping my Channeler, and then they get like a 2-for-1 value play. So there is a little bit of like situational work there. And now I'm fine playing this Channeler out. I've got a basic in case they've got Blood Moon. If they spend like an Unholy Heat or something on this, that's fine. looks like we're going to kind of have... Alright, that's a pretty good draw here. I was going to say it looks like we're going to have a pick and choose our spot kind of situation. But Kroxa, thankfully, lets us kind of force the issue. Kroxa just says, like, here's this thing you gotta deal with in a couple turns. Need to fetch up another basic, I can. If they go for like a Blood Moon or something. If they do cast a mURktide, it's important to know that the triggers for mURktide go on the stack. So mURktide resolves, and then it puts a bunch of triggers on the stack for putting the 1/1 counters on it. So you can respond to that with like a lightning bolt or a dismember or something, like here. Or does it not? I could have sworn it did. Huh. Shows what I know. Don't listen to me. Do you have a spell pierce? I could have sworn he put the triggers on the stack. What am I thinking of? Oh, it may be the triggers on the stack when you cast it. But not like on the stack. Like it visualizes the triggers when you cast it. Ooh, we got a YouTube subscriber. Let's go for Dismember here. Get Shadow online. And if they didn't have a Spell Pierce for the mURktide, I can't imagine they have a Spell Pierce for... Respect the Cat, that's you? Nice. Yeah, I'm actually kind of proud of the YouTube channel. It's like a whole bunch of just all sorts of Shadow related content. So just about every league we test out ends up on YouTube. They cast another, triggers extra counters. That may have been what I was thinking of. I could have sworn when you cast the first one, it like visualizes the counters, but I could very much be wrong. Don't say. So let's start with attack with the shadow, see if they do anything. If they want to pop this EE or not. So let's follow it up with another copy of Death Shadow. I don't think I want to play Scourge here. I was thinking about making a channel to upload my VODs, but don't know if that's worth it. I think it is most of the time. Have you seen like the video maker tool or whatever on Twitch to export VODs directly to YouTube? Why did they fetch and shock there? Oh, they've got Archmage's Charm. 100% they've got Archmage's Charm. That's okay. If they want to steal my shadow, I've got these fatal pushes. Pretty new to Twitch as well. Well, let me show you real quick. Scourge being a 10-10 is like such a beefy threat. Let's see. So, yeah, there's like, we called the Archmage's Charm, but if you're like on your channel screen like this and you go over to where your little title is, that's off the screen, sorry. If you're on your channel and you go over here to the top right over here where your little picture is and go to video producer, it'll open up this screen and you can just like select a full stream that you've had and upload it, and it'll just, as long as you set it to connect to your YouTube, which is like in your settings somewhere, it'll just upload the VOD, the entire thing just straight to YouTube, and it's really, really convenient. So it's a pretty cool tool to have access to if you're wanting to upload, like you said, your entire VOD at once. It takes a little bit of time, like probably 2 or 3 hours to get it completely done. But like I used to do that and just upload overnight or something as I was going. It's a pretty sweet deal. So I think I'm in the market to cast another copy of Scourge. See if our opponent wants to Archmage's Charm, steal our Shadow now, counter the Scourge. Like, Scourge is such a problematic card for them to deal with that it's great to see him wasting these charms on that instead of, like, stealing our Shadow. Shredder is A-okay. Oh, please just be double Shredder. Shredder plus mURktide. That's fine, too. I've already played land for turn, so... Shredder, Connive resolves. mURktide resolves. It'll push a Shredder. So fetch land kills. Yep, that one. I was gonna say we could Night's Whisper to draw 2 and try to find a way like a Terminate to interact with the mURktide, but I think even if we didn't draw the fetch land there, I would rather Liliana. Like, we could Night's Whisper, force the chump on the mURktide and attack, but I think the fact that we have like bolts in our deck means if I have the opportunity to Lily Edict, deal 4, stay at 9 life, and like Night's Whisper into Bolt or something next turn and have them at 2, I kind of like that line a little bit better. Plus Liliana, like, dealing with the mURktide and pressuring the hand is pretty nice. Alright, cool little 3-0 start here. Selfie sec. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Something unfair. Something unfair revealed Giganta. What you got? Oh, did they put me on the play? I think they put me on the play, yeah. Nice. I can't imagine a world in which that's correct. But unless you just, like, know this is going to be a mid-range mirror. Should have paid more attention there. Oh well. Turn 1 Ragavan into turn 2 Scourge on the play would have looked way better than turn 1 skip through your hand or skip through your turn. Must be on scam after I gave him the beat down. Well, it's possible. Doesn't look very scammy. I think you have to take... Not taking the Scourge. What does that lead me to believe? Holy heat. Okay. Well, I'm going to play the Scourge, so I'm guessing you've got some sort of an answer for it. Makes sense. I don't think I want a lightning bolt. I think I'd rather have like another actual threat. So, wonder how much different this game would have looked if we'd realized we were on the play. Grixis pretty good. Get back Kroxa this next turn, which means my best draw is probably another Scourge. Scourge, that lightning bolt actually would have been a lot better here. I didn't even think about the fact that they're at 7 already. All right. It's going to come down to the wire. Is for 9, put us to 5. Then a Scalding Tarn, draw a blind one. All right. Let's find a bolt. Bolt one time. Oh, please don't have a fatal push. Care about that? Yeah. Fatal push Darcy for the win. Coming back after being down game 1, being down turn 1. Alright, great Spellbomb matchup. Probably want Blood Moon. Doesn't look like they were shying away from aggressive with the life total. Battle Rages can come out. Board out some hand hate. Probably a couple of Wraiths. Call it a day. Actually, I Probably want Dismember over some of like the less impactful removal. Removal. Something like that. He's not on Shadow, but he is on Terror. Terminate might be necessary. Yeah, if he's on Terror, but like I don't want to assume he is, because if I'm in a tournament in the blind and I just played that game, I'm not thinking Terror. But I'm okay bringing in Terminate against the Kroxa deck with Ragavans and whatnot, and looks like it's a Shadow deck. I would bring in Terminates against that all day, every day. So, but like Scourge of the Skyclaves is always a nightmare in the Shadow mirrors. It just outsizes like everything. Okay, keep that, and I'm just gonna throw away the extra. Well, let's throw away the Street Wraith. Keep the extra Ragavan. They choose to go first this time, so not falling into that one. I'm sitting there staring at the selection screen. Bauble Steam Vents go. So, am I assuming that they've got an answer to the Ragavan? Probably. Am I casting the Ragavan anyway? Yes. Holy Heat is fine. Interesting. Play another Ragavan. See what you do. I'm assuming they're just gonna have the answer to this Ragavan, so I really don't want to like go too aggressive there. Kroxa is fine. Let's get Swamp and Night's Whisper. Play yet another Ragavan. Consider. Okay. So if they get back Kroxa this turn, jig's up. The jig is up. No. So close. Cling to dust. Cling to dust, no follow-up. Here's the shadows. Go. Consider is fine. Another Croxa. Alright, am I just ditching... I have to ditch Lightning Bolt, right? Bad as that feels. Okay. Alright, so we can deal with the terror here. So let's check this. I fetch and shock, go to 9, terminate the terror, attack them for 4, down to 9. They play a Croxa. Puts me down to 6. Shadow's not lethal. So, do I need to... I guess it's lethal if I draw like a non-land spell. Really need to draw like... don't actually know what I need to draw here. So I run into this this scenario of they get back Croxa. I go to 6. Shadow outgrows Croxa, but it's not presenting lethal. So if they don't block and I can't present lethal, I'm dead. If I wait for them to attack and I don't draw a non-land card, they attack. I discard. Alright, so I need to just attack. Give them the chance to block. They do not. So then we fatal push this. Say go. And if they get back Croxa again and I find a removal spell for it, then they die. So they might have to kill the Shadow here. Which gives me a chance to find Lightning Bolt, 4th Ragavan, K Command. Got a reasonable number of live draws. But obviously, best case scenario that last turn would have been they didn't block and they played Croxa on their turn and we got to push with the trigger on the stack. We would go down to 3 and we'd have a lethal Shadow on the crackback, but they made the smart play of not blocking there. But we have outgrown Unholy Heat, so dash or Ragavan. That's surprising. Alright. Can we get a removal spell for lethal? That we can. Alright. Selfie sec, if you end up watching this on YouTube or Twitch later, I did not deserve that win. That was luck. I did nothing relevant. That was all the MTGO gods determining it. I made no meaningful decision in that game whatsoever. Oh. The old burn. Likes to scrub it sometimes he gets there. You're not wrong. Not wrong. Take my free removal spell here. He has great mountain selection, even if we whoop his ass for the trophy. That's fair. Let's see. Like, I want to dash Ragavan. So I guess I will. It's like not the end of the world if they have a kill spell for it. Charm me. Alright, see now, we were on the same page up until that play. I don't think there was a reason to do that inside a combat there. Like, maybe they've got a reasoning for it, but I can't think of anything. Oh, yeah, I guess I totally forgot to do a prediction. Sorry. I got wrapped up in the selfie sec match. Prowess trigger resolves. Lightning bolt does not resolve. Good little no attack there. Alright, so let me think of how this damage is going to progress. If I attack them and they block and I play out a Scourge, then I've got a 5/5 Shadow, a 3/3 Scourge. I bolt them down to 16, Scourge, or down to 14. Scourge is a 6, Shadow's a 5. I'm at 8 life. So I need Scourge to, or I need Shadow to connect. I think I just have to attack. It's more, I want Shadow to connect. Alright, so now we cast Scourge. Play a land, say go. Now, if they don't have lethal burn, then we've got bolt the Swift Spear, attack with our 2 guys, and we don't have to deal any more damage to ourselves. They can have double Boros Charm. That's lethal. you. See if that's good enough. Play land for the heck of it. They could Lightning Helix a creature, but we can fetch and shock to negate the Lightning Helix. Yeah, I would assume they would snap it off, unless they were afraid of me having, like, fetch up an island and spell pierce. So there's a chance in there somewhere that they could have had it and not gone for it. I don't think it's a big chance, but that's about the only thing I could think of, is they were expecting, like, stub or something and didn't go for it if they had it, but I don't think they had it. We're going to bring in a Chalice. We've done it a few times against Burn before, where we've just, like, gotten a good threat on board and just Chaliced on one after. And, like, you don't care if you cut off half of your deck if the Chalice wins you the game. Definitely huge to get game one. Also just ate a cheese pizza like God intended. That's the real poll we need to do one day, is if people in the chat are absolutely just nuts or if they appreciate a good cheese pizza. All right, that's a lot of lightning bolts. So let's drop a channeler, see what happens. Searing Blaze, okay. All right, I think this is gonna be it. The Shadow, and then try to Chalice my opponent. Possibly. So let's go. Or I guess it's not going to be this turn. It's going to have to be like a next turn Chalice. As much as I want it to be this turn, this needs to be just like fire off a bunch of bolts. Make them deal some damage to me. Helix me, sure. Okay. The good old, do you have lethal burn? Looks like they do. Damn. So Chalice on one would have gotten there, maybe. If they had to respond to Chalice with Bolt, then I could have responded to Bolt with Fetch. Oh, I guess they could have double bolted my Shadow. No. All right, so I'm at 12. I cast Chalice on one. Don't fetch. They respond with Helix Shadow. I fetch. They respond Bolt Shadow. Yeah. No good way that works out. It just had to be all bolts and... like a flurry of 1 mana burn spells is pretty rough. And I did fetch and shock to get the Shadow down. But I was kind of just hoping that my opponent wasn't going to have a metric fuck ton of burn spells right there. get a channeler down. Say go. No attack, you say? So let's go Inquisition. Ditch Liliana. Double Sanctifier on Vec. We'll take the Path to Exile. Lightning Bolt the Goblin Guide. Sure, we'll keep Pyrite on top. Get in with Scourge. Do find the second land right away for Sanctifier. All right, so if I Pyrite the Sanctifier, let me check my damage here. If I play out Scourge here, I'm at 15. No, I can't play out Scourge because it's just dead to double bolt. And I just lose that entire exchange. I've got to play Pyrite here. Kill the Sanctifier. No, I want another land. I can't have the Scourge get double bolted, or I just lose the game on the spot. So, like, as aggravatingly slow as this is, I've got to play a little conservatively here. And I'm keeping Battle Rage on top because I honestly don't want my opponent thinking about the card. Don't want them having TBR on their radar anywhere. So Lightning Bolt and Skewer. So I am double blocking this so that if they don't want to lose the Swift Spear, they have to bolt one of my creatures. Like so. Which means we untap and play a Scourge. So Boros Charm is 5/3 dead. God, had to be Boros Charm. Like anything else puts me to 1. Ah. Had to be Boros Charm. The only spell that kills me right there. And there's such a good chance that if they can't kill me, they don't go for it. Ah. Hit the land drops. Hit another 3 damage burn spell. Hit Boros Charm. So much that had to go specifically that way. God. Oh. The deck was running so well, too. Played perfectly to get into position. OP rips 2 lands and a Boros Charm. Yep. Sergey for the win. Man, I'm late. Run another league. I'm probably going to. But, alright. Let's talk about Rakdos real quick. Deck functioned pretty smoothly. So, I can't complain too much. Scourge looked good, but mainly because we just had the enabling. Battle Rage looked good. I mean, everything was pretty straightforward and smooth, so I can't complain much. Pyrite Spellbomb got a little cheeky dub there at the end. Blood Moon won us a game against Amulet Titan. Dolthy won us a game against Yawgmoth.